Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You know what we're going to be doing today? We're going to be visiting the Shawn Ryan Show. Shout out to Shawn Ryan here on YouTube. His link for his channel is down in the description. He sat down and had a heart-to-heart, one-on-one interview with Brian Harpole, who is the chief of security for Turning Point USA, and most importantly, for Charlie Kirk. He was standing literally on Charlie Kirk's right side when the fateful event happened. He's going to answer a ton of questions. He's going to give a lot of context, and I just want to get started. So we're going to jump in real quick, ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado.
Brian Harpole, welcome to the show.
Pleasure, Shawn. Thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you for coming, man. So, very heavy interview today. And so you were in charge of the security detail in the company when Charlie Kirk was assassinated exactly 2 months and 1 day ago.
Yes, sir.
And, I've been really quiet about this matter because so many people are out there on it, and it's a real shame, but it just got to be so much that I just did not trust my own eyes, ears, what I was reading, what I was watching. And I think a lot of people have sensationalized this. And and that is a real fucking shame. And it makes it impossible to find the truth.
It is, and it's not a word, but you said sensationalized, but it's like advantagealized, right? Just to take advantage of it. It's almost like sickening, and it has been. And really, that's kind of what drove me to come here.
Well, Brian, I know you and your team are taking a lot of flack, and and I commend you for the courage to come out and talk today on the show. And I just want you to know, I'm not a combative interviewer. I do have some tough questions that will be at the end, the questions that I've seen all throughout the internet, questions that people have, questions that I have. Some of them may seem a little absurd, but I think it's important to, just address all the major ones, at least all the ones that are on my radar. And so I just, once again, want to thank you for coming.
Nothing's out of bounds except for something that may be covered in the NDA that I did for a specific incident for them. And so if that's true, I would just say that. But literally, that's the big thing, is that I'm sitting here, but the team is here. And that's the big deal. And they're representing them.
I want to.
So shout out to Ryan. Shout out to Brian. I think this is a very sensitive topic. I'm only wondering, should Brian be doing this interview because isn't he under the gag order? Or would he be under the gag order? Because, of course, I'm sure that's part of the investigation. So that's my only concern about this. But we're going to see what happens. Maybe the NDA and the gag order go together or something like that. So we'll see.
And I also just want to say, one, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, and God bless his family. And number two, I've lost friends, and I'm familiar with those type of scenarios. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say that I'm really sorry for what you and your guys are going through with losing your friend.
Thank you.
And also with everything that's coming along with that. So,
and so
I like that cross on your jacket. Yeah, I thought it'd be good to start this episode with a prayer.
Absolutely.
You okay with that?
That's what we all should do.
All right.
Yeah.
It's going to be super simple here. Jesus, I would just want to thank you for having Brian here today. And we have just a couple of goals today with this interview. And that we ask that you be here with us in this interview. And we just want to bring some answers to unanswered questions here today and avenge Brian's team of these accusations and conspiracies. And we basically just want to clear the air and get rid of the confusion. And we hope this helps. And we also just want to pray for Charlie and his family. And we hope that this rise in political violence comes to an end real fast. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I believe in that. Power of prayer is unbelievable.
Me too.
I've received prayers from people from all over the world and text and I would tell them they're heard and felt, and they are to my death.
Let's move into the threat assessment and the pre-planning for the event.
Absolutely.
How many days prior were you guys there?
We generally, the permitting process and all that goes on behind the scenes. And then there's questionnaires that are filled out that we used to, there was a lot of busy work. And then so, kind of like in the military, what you did, we create forms that, hey, let's get this information up front. Mm-hmm. And so that we have a duplication process so that we can confirm it. And so we started our first, before that one, the 24th of the month prior. And so, and that was with the hard conversations, meetings.
You started that on the 24th?
Mm-hmm. Right. And we
That's
do
2 weeks.
At
really?
least. No, well, it started before that with the intelligence gathering and all that. But the hard conversations, the sharing of information, the conference calls, the data sheets, and we put that in a timeline on an app so that this all goes up and every guy that's on that job can see all the intel that comes in. It's a decentralized command model for the company. And so anybody can make command decisions for the betterment of the client or the team. And so everything goes on that app. And so when I get it, they get it. And when whoever's gathering that intel, it gets it. There's no hold, there's no power hold on it. And so that first information came in on the 24th, and then the information share starts where we're walking through, everything that you need for a detail. The site plan, point of contacts, emergency fallback locations, hard rooms, arrival points, hospital, you name it, fire department, jurisdictional authorities, all that comes in on an intel sheet and gathered. And then it's in that quick reference app. So any guy can get it at any time they want to. And then we can share it out anytime. We can add people into it, take people out of it. Mm-hmm. And so we found also that we utilize that format, and it shows that it can timestamp our due diligence also. Okay. And so that's why we use that as opposed to just, sharing it back and forth or doing it on a Whippet pad. So we have that in real time. And so that starts then.
What kind of, at the beginning, when I was kind of looking into this before I realized I'm never going to find any answers, we've seen a lot of Charlie's friends, people that are in the media, come out and say Charlie had very specific concerns about Israel and that his opinions were changing about Israel and that he had expressed concerns about this to various media personalities. My question is the man that owns the company that's in charge of his security detail, and you are the head guy on his security detail, were there any concerns about that or any other organization, political party, foreign nation? Did he express any of those concerns to you?
No, and Dan works for Turning Point as their security guy, and so Dan feeds down that to us to to our contracted security, which is us for integrity. And so nothing had ever come now from Dan, from Charlie down to us about that. Now, at the same time, you got to look at the world we live in, and that's a reality. It's a reality that an organization, whether it be a hate group of any type, could want to hurt anybody. Not necessarily Israel, but we look at mathematics too, and there's probabilities and possibilities, right? And I look at the probabilities. The possibilities are infinite. And the probabilities are that it's not. The probabilities are the people that want to hurt him are the people that are there screaming things at him in front of us half the time. And so we have to look at those probabilities in the mathematics. We look at the possibilities too. And those possibilities, I'm sure, are out there, but we've never got any detail or intel to show that yet we should look into this deeper.
I mean, it is very interesting that if he was that concerned about foreign nations or opposite political affiliations, I mean, if he was that concerned, I don't know why that wouldn't have been disseminated down to the security detail. I mean, I have a security detail, and if I feel that there is a threat, even if it's just a feeling, that's the first people that I tell is my security detail.
We looked at, we look at all that, and you can go back and look at his speeches, and Charlie was an absolute supporter of Israel, and then he would say, and they would ask him why, and so we're in those things and we're listening, but at the same time you're looking, but you hear these things and you hear them over, and I can remember him saying, he was a supporter of it because one, a nation should be able to defend itself after they've been attacked. Two, Charlie was a devout Christian to the point that he gave his life for it. And he referenced this, and I heard him reference it, where those places that are our holy land are being taken away from us and not being able to visit, and that you can't go there. And so that protection of Israel was important to him and those holy sites. And he'd been there. And so he had talked about being there and how it changed his life. And so that's why those sites in that area was important for him to protect. Now, how you can derive Israeli hitmen out of that, I have no idea. But we have never received anything from the FBI, which they were pretty good about sharing information, Secret Service, because of the Charlie Circle. And we had never received anything from anybody that was credible that was saying that groups of that entity was a threat to him. We received other threats all the time.
What kind
they come in all the time, and so you got to look at them. Are they First Amendment, or are they actual threats? Am I gonna spend an exorbitant amount of time with a possibility that I don't have any tangible intel on and haven't received any, or am I gonna put my eggs into this basket that is a probability right here? And so it's probable these people are doing it with bomb threats, routinely, physical, threats to person. And so you got to look at all these things and work those angles. And, Dan did that meticulously, and he shared that information with us. And so if that came in, we got it, and we never got anything that, no Mossad or nothing. That was never, not once.
Did anybody,
Okay. I can dig it.
I've interviewed a lot of war fighters. I'm a war fighter. A lot of times somebody on the team will have some type of a feeling or a premonition or, hey, we shouldn't be here right now, or something's about to happen. I don't have a good feeling about this. Did anybody on your team or Charlie, anybody express any concerns about that day?
On that day, for us personally, when you walk in and we talk about workup, right? So we start the back workup, and then we're a little different also as far as our guys don't just get to show up. The team goes out and we physically build all of our prevention model. So they don't show up and just see it. They physically build it, and we walk through it each other, and we make sure things are done right. And so our guys are pulling bike racks and putting them together, and they're putting tape up, and they're looking at places all around the bubble that our area of responsibility is. And so, they're looking around thinking, God, this is horrible. It's a beautiful amphitheater there at UVU, but, you're
You're in a spot.
you're a tactician. If you're somewhere and you're covered from an elevated position from 180 degrees, it's horrible. And that's where we were. But that's come out. It's like, why would they have it there? This is ignorance. It's a security fail. And I'm like, well, one, that's where they told us we had to have it. We weren't optioned out anywhere else. There's a permit you have to get. And the school says, nope, this is where you have to have it. We don't get to argue with them. We don't get to say, no, but that's it. This is where you have to do it. And then secondarily.
Okay, so are we going to agree with and believe the multi-decade security specialist who says this is where the school told us that we had to have it, or are we going to argue with him and say, no, we know that it was somewhere else because of a random email? I'm just wondering. Comment down below. Let me know what position you're going to take on this. Let's go.
Charlie liked it. It wasn't ticketing. You didn't have gates. Regular people showed up, and we had spoke to him about it before. And it's like, man, this is getting dangerous, And his response was, I know. And so it's like, but if you ticket it and you make people jump through hoops to come in or pay or go through magnetometers, and then the people with opposing views don't show up, and then there's no conversation. And when there's no conversation, there's more division. And his goal was to have less division through conversation. And so the easiest way to get that was to open it up. And that's not the first. UVU was an open air, but we did San Francisco where we had a street takeover and people trying to climb over fences, and our primary and secondary exfil got compromised, and so it was bad.
Wow.
And so we've had New Mexico where we had no law enforcement assistance, and that went not last year before, and we ended up physically just fighting our way out of there. And so it's like, we get it, the risk, but his response and his mentality was that this is worth it. We're making gains here.
In your coordination with UVU, did they offer any assistance, anything at all?
Yeah.
Did you ask them of anything?
Absolutely. So we come in and we start looking at things immediately, like, man, where are our risks? What's our risk assessment when we come in? That's why we get there. That's why we start doing the advance so early. We walk it, we build it ourselves. And so initially I spent thousands of dollars on drones last year.
I know he doesn't have to, but I would love to know what he means by build it out or build the assessment. I want to know, what does that mean? I feel like he's using some vernacular, and again, maybe it's just for security reasons. I would love to know a little bit more, what does that mean? All right, let's talk about these drones.
And got the guy's license. But if the area lies in the Provo, Utah airspace, I can't fly it. That's a 107B. We can't break the rules, right? And then you had secondary restrictions, probably due to heavy foot traffic for the school. But I can't go in and break the rules. There's laws for a reason. And so now the school could have flown drones, the PD, but they didn't have them, right? But Orem PD has a drone unit, active and professional, and that police department, I will tell you right now, is awesome. They get it. They were there. They helped both on the soft side and the hard side. And so I started asking questions like, you guys have a drone unit? Yeah, good. Do you have an MOU or a mutual aid agreement with the school? And they're like, yeah. And I said, did they call you and ask for assistance? No. I'm like, why wouldn't you call? And then, so, that's one. So I can't go in and break the law. I can't make my guys break the law. I can't go in and do something that would jeopardize their
Do you
career.
have any idea why they would say no? I mean, was this malicious? Was this being malicious
I don't
towards
know
Charlie?
if no's the right one. I would say, did you ask? Did you ask this awesome PD that would probably help you in a heartbeat, that you have an MOU with? Did you even ask them? And the answer was, from them, we didn't get asked. We didn't get asked. And then so table the drones, which would have been awesome. Absolutely. I believe in them, but I can't break the law to do it. We're out there not only protecting them physically, but I have to protect the reputation of the client also. And that's a whole separate thing of protection. So the drones would have been awesome, but I can't break the law. They could have used them. They chose not to. And you got Overwatch, you know. Yeah, snipers on roofs. I got guys that are qualified. That's their career. But this is not a State Department job. I don't have an ITAR, and this is in Iraq. This is Utah. I can't go in and set up, you know, observation points with snipers. That's against the law. I can't break federal and state law to do what we need to accomplish. So that's their job. Our job is a close protection bubble, and there's a saying on this, and there's areas of responsibility, and we cut up the areas of responsibility in this pre-meet, or, you know, when we start doing the advance. All right, we've got this, you've got this, and so you know, they have that Overwatch capability, and they have an MOU for SWAT for that through Orem, not utilized. Don't know why. That's a question for them to ask. Why didn't you call? Well, why didn't you ask for assistance, especially when this crowd grew and grew and grew? I mean, good police tactics. If you're out and you have 6 guys that show up, and all of a sudden this thing goes from 1,500 to 2,000 to 3,000 people, you go, hey, we need some help. Follow your pride or whatever it is. We need some help. I took 12 guys there. I had double the amount of people there that the PD had. And we're only responsible for the first 30 meters in movement in and advance in and receiving and out. And we had 12 guys. They gave me 6 for the rest of the campus.
Jeez.
Yeah. And so that's not the question for me to say, why didn't they? That's the question for them. And so there was that one. The site, man, it wasn't up to us. 2, drones. I can't break the law to do something I want to do. Otherwise, I'd have showed up with an APC.
Well, with the drones, I mean, you were in coordination with local police department, correct?
No, that the UVU has jurisdictional authority. It's their campus. Orem is the outside city. They weren't there because they hadn't asked. They hadn't been asked to come by, and we can't ask them to come. I can't call Orem PD and say, hey, man, send me 10 guys. I can't do that. I don't have the authority to do that or the budget. And then, but the city, I mean, the school PD has an MOU or mutual aid agreement with them. Why not just call them and say, hey, can you guys send us 10 guys over here for Overwatch, all that? And I say that only because we had previously talked about areas of responsibility. And then the areas of responsibility, and I had and our guys all have not only an area of responsibility, but there's a job in a job. So you have your area and you have a job for that area, but then you also know the guy's area and job next to you in case he goes down or something, you have to backfill him. And then we have the bubble around the protectee. And mathematically, 2,000 people are in front of you. Where's mathematically the threat coming from?
The front.
Right. And so we're looking for walk-ups, you know, people walk up, setting down a package, walking away, displaying a firearm, everything from throwing balloons full of piss to muriatic acid. We've had all kind of stuff thrown on us over the years. And so there's a reason why those things are set up that way. And there's a reason why those guys that day were set up around there. Every guy has a job. Every guy has a detail. Every guy knows the guy's job next to him. And so we have that set. And then other people have areas of responsibility. Well, the Monday before the event, we were still working through the arrival. And so
that was the
we have concerns with rooftops.
Monday before.
We got a location that we're not keen with. We know what our responsibility is. We know what our statutory authority is. We know that we can't go up and set up our guys in sniper observer positions. It's not going to be allowed. And so we have some correspondence with the chief of the school on that day, on Monday before Charlie was killed. And why this hadn't come out,
So this was the
and why he won't stand up like a man and admit this, I don't know. But he's watching a bunch of men lose their careers, and he's okay with it. On Monday before, this correspondence went to Chief Long. Hello, Chief Long. We received this message today from the student group. There is a student roof access pretty close to where CK will be set up at the Utah Valley. The Sorensen Center has a couple of staircases that go up to walkways on the roofs. He comes back, and for edification, the Sorensen Center was the building in front of the Lucy Center. And so he comes back and he says, you want access to the roof. And came back and said, I was told students have access above us. If this is true, it would be nice to either have it controlled access or allow one of my guys to be there as well, if possible. He comes back, and his last correspondence was, I got you covered.
Wow.
What else am I to do? When a command level person from an accredited police department says, I've got this area.
Jeez.
Okay.
Have you been in who was that?
That was the chief of police for the UVU police department. We've called him. He's never called us back.
Holy shit. Does he have a name?
Chief Long.
Chief Long.
And I didn't know if it said deputy in that or not, because in the correspond or in his stuff on the website it says Deputy Chief Long, but we just called him Chief Long. So it's like, yeah, I got guys that are 10 times more qualified than what he could have produced for us, probably.
So literally all they had to do is post anybody at that stairwell.
Stairwell,
Or
roof,
put a drone up. Or
or
let you do your job.
let us. You know, our team is built.
Would it be okay if we put that
Sure.
screenshot of that text
Absolutely.
up for everybody to see?
Absolutely.
So they know it's real?
Yeah, absolutely. And do a FOIA for his phone.
That's a good idea.
Do a FOIA. Do a FOIA for his phone and have those records put out so everybody can see them. Do a FOIA for the communications for days leading up to it.
Shout out.
Do it. And the truth's like a lion. You set it free and it'll fight for itself.
One of my favorite sayings. Last question before we take a break. I just want to ask, were you understaffed or I mean, was anybody sick? Did you have what you needed?
Yeah, we usually had
This
been.
was the same as every other event. Same?
No, we upped it. Yeah.
You upped it.
Yeah, we upped it. We usually would run 8 to 9, depending on how many movements and how much movement inside. And so based on no articulable threat, but just the current world situation prior to that day, we upped the manpower to 12. And then we had actually a 13 there that came in the drive party. And so, but yeah,
dry party?
we upped it based on nothing, because it's like, all right, that we're in a kind of a place where we don't want to be. We're expecting a big crowd. It's the first one. We don't want to get behind the 8 ball. In security industry, it's a prevention industry, not a response industry. It is a response industry, but it should be a prevention industry. So we're there in the prevention model. And so you can see, if you pull the schematic up, the placement I put for our guys. And on that day, thank goodness we had them, because where the tent was that Charlie was under, there's a giant walkway above him. And when we were doing the walk that morning, one of the things that didn't come out in our advance was there was giant rocks that they use for architectural design all around there. And so we're seeing these rocks on the ground, and it's like, oh, people can come by and pick up these rocks and then throw them down on us and throw them down on Charlie. And so we did a temporary criminal trespass zone right above him on that bridge walkway, so that people couldn't come in it and throw rocks down on him. And so, but the problem is that we had to get PD units in here to take that area of responsibility. And we told them, hey, just like out there, we need you here to have oversight coverage, because one, it's a tape line. It's not a hard, wall or anything. And so you need statutory authority under Utah law to say, hey, you can't come in or you can be arrested. And so the PD came and did that. And then we had one, Scott, that did a hellacious job on making sure they stayed there and did their job. And so thank goodness we brought extra people. Mm-hmm. And so, we had people for our assignment, and our assignment and our people's assignment was carried out meticulously. I mean, you had Dan next to Charlie, and Dan's only job is exfil. And you can see when Charlie got shot, within 2 seconds, Dan had his hands on him to push him down to the ground. And then within, when you break it down forensically, like within 5 seconds, I was on top of Charlie. And then you saw our team actually doing exactly, falling back on top of him and collapsing back on top of him. Not one radio comms came out. It's unneeded. They all know their jobs. And or helping fill in a spot, somebody gets out of hand. I don't run over and jump on Blake and help Blake, because I know Blake's a big boy and he can handle himself. I go back, fill in where Blake just left, so that we're not leaving something open to go address a threat. And so unless it's something catastrophic, obviously, and then you saw in the video where something catastrophic happens, there's no chatter needed. There's no talk to be needed. Every guy's done that. We practice that. And there was a radio personality, I won't even say his name, but
real quick, I think that's something that really we got to keep in mind. These gentlemen are not, rental cops. This is their job. This is what they do. So when we look at the assassination of Charlie Kirk, we see men respond as they are supposed to, not as we would, because we don't know. We're not trained in this. Shout out. Let's go.
He's not worth it. But he came out and he's like, look at this. These guys are like a football team. You can tell they were zipping and zapping. You can tell they rehearsed this. You can tell they were staged. This was staged. And I'm like, wow. He said they didn't even hesitate. And he's sitting there just cracking us because our guys didn't run around like with chickens with their head cut off. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, that we practice that.
How it's supposed to be.
It's how that when we train, we have iterations, whether it's PT or medical or shooting, and in the guy that finishes last, because everything's a competition, because that breeds near perfection. The guy that finishes last, he has to get carried by the team to the next iteration. And how do we carry them? The same way we carried Charlie. So that's been done literally hundreds of times. And so you don't need to talk about what you need to do when you know what you need to do.
And with just one more thing to cover, the evacuation routes. I mean, we had already covered, you guys have been there. You'd had a presence there for 2 weeks prior to the event. Do you have the routes to all the venues, more specifically the hospital? Do you have multiple routes?
Yeah,
to the
so what we do on that one is, we're not there for 2 weeks, but we start working that for 2 weeks, and that all gets plugged in. Where are we going? And the one that we went to was the closest one, but it was a level 3. Yeah, we knew that. The next closest one was another 7 minutes away. We're going to the closest one. Yeah, and we beelined it to there. And I'll get into how we got there and what we did on the way in a minute. But yeah, all that's plugged in. All that is information, and it's known. And we have a guy that, even though that route's pre-done, even though that's known, we still have a guy in there that's calling it out in real time on that right side. I mean, he's nav, and that nav is important, because the guy's driving, and we needed Justin Expert drove that day, like, phew, man. Yeah, incredible. And so, yeah, all that's known beforehand. And so when people said, oh, you should have an ambulance there. It's like, well, one, I can't make the city put an ambulance there.
Good point.
Now, there is a Utah law that says for mass gatherings like that, a Utah law says that for mass gatherings, a health officer needs to be assigned. I don't assign them. The PD does, whoever does. And then it says, in that law, it says that they may determine where an ambulance is on standby. And I'm like, okay, well, they did have standby UTV medical there, but I can't make them make that, right? And first rule of emergency medicine, when EMT goes, because I've done this, if you don't walk into the room when you're doing your skills portion and say, hey, is the scene safe? They fail you and you're done, right? And so those medics that were around that buggy were nowhere to be found. Why? Because they're taking cover like everybody else. And so, and the type of wound that we had, it's not a wait till the ambulance gets there.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that and what the doc said and transport and all that. So all that was known and all that's done in the workup.
So looking at hindsight here through the security footage, I mean, it came out that,
Wow,
the shooter went unnoticed at 11:50 a.m. in the grassy area, 12:02 p.m. near the Loose Center, and then at 12:23 p.m. when the shot was fired, approximately 142 yards away. What was, what was your immediate response?
I'll address the shooter in the timeline first. It's like, you know what I want to know? I want to know when he got on the roof. Because we're shooters. It's easy because we have a range, and our guys do it as a sense of pride. Even though we know we work on all this other stuff more, the shooting we work on because it's a sense of pride. And then, so you look at things like that. In that shooting position, 3 meters to the right and 10 meters to the left, there was no shot.
Right.
And so I want to know when that guy got on the roof.
Let's put the visual of what that looks like on the screen right now.
We took that shot before.
Really?
We always do. We sit down in the space and we take the shot and send it back to Charlie so that he can see what he's going to see. Yeah, and that's a routine thing that we do.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's mental preparation. Yeah.
So here's a visual of what you guys
Correct.
were able to see.
Yep. And so here's my question, and hopefully it'll come out in timeline. All right. We've all seen the pictures of the guy when he came on through the staircase. It's like, okay, there's a difference between a guy walking up and getting on a roof and a guy walking up and getting on a roof. And did he run over to a known position? What you're doing there tactically is you're working a loophole. You guys did that on a roof. You bang a hole through one side, and then you step back and you put another hole and you shoot through that hole when that opportunity comes through. Like, this is a big loophole. And so you tell me you just ran up onto a roof, pop yourself down in a position that was in a loophole.
Can you describe that loophole again real quick, just now that we have the visual up so people can see it?
You get up on this Sorensen Center, not Sorensen Center, Lucy Center, that's behind the Sorensen Center. And standing, we can't see it. One, it's not our area of responsibility, so that's why we're not looking there. First one, we're looking at threats right in front of us. You see, how many threats do you have in front of you right here?
A lot.
3,000.
3,000.
right? And so that's what we're looking at. And then it's kind of like you could be in front of a 18,000 foot mountain and there's a 36,000 foot mountain behind it. You're not going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to be cognizant of that. And then if he would have stopped just a little bit to the right, he wouldn't have been able to see it because the source and center would have been in the way.
I mean, it's a very specific point.
Spot.
It's not just, which is what I thought. I thought it was just climb on the roof and you've got the vantage point.
So you're
very
telling me
much
there's
like
enough blind ass
OTA.
luck that you ran up there, didn't crawl, you didn't get up. He didn't get up there like the secondary guy that tried to shoot Trump, where he was bugged down in the weeds for a while. This was a boom on, boom run to, boom take the shot, and it's like, did you get all that off?
I mean, it had to have been rehearsed to find that, which I believe you said is basically did you say 7 foot vantage point basically ahead?
Oh, I'd have to.
It's small. Whatever.
It's small.
It's small.
Not big.
There's the visual. Who gives a fuck? It's a small area.
It's not something. And then
You would have to search for that. You would have to search for that vantage point if you didn't know. So it would be great to see the footage. Maybe it's out there of him running straight to the point, or did he search around looking
exactly
for
what
it?
I want to know. Do we have?
It'd be great if that chief of police would have put that fucking drone up.
We'd have had it, or I'd have flown that drone up his ass if we could have had one. So those are questions I have. Those are tactical questions. I mean, we make our guys do that kind of stuff all the time. Yep, nope, you're going to run 300 yards. You're going to jump over this wall. You're going to come home and you're going to take this shot with, ours is about a 35-foot declination at 200 yards. And you see guys that are even trained miff it every once in a while. And people are like, oh, that's an easy whip at 142. I'm like, yeah, the shot itself, but you're talking about old men that shoot stuff off sandbags. You and I both know under duress, accurate shots are different.
It's not 142 yards is not a difficult shot with a magnifying
Not at all.
optic. It becomes more difficult when you're winded, when you're climbing, when you're running, when you are nervous.
Visual
when you're
noise
about
all
to
in
take
front
a
of
life, when you're wondering if anybody else is seeing you. I mean, there's a lot of induced stress. And, and I just want to, I mean, we're looking at this thing right now, this first person view of what it looked like from under the tent. And I mean, I don't know how long he was in that gap for, but it didn't sound like it was very long. And you have 3,000 other threats that you're looking at, the rooftop supposedly being covered by the police. Maybe it would have been a good idea to confirm that the police had the drones up. But I mean, you are talking to the chief of police. You would think that he would have the fucking drones up.
So that's kind of where our guys are set up on there. And then I was to Charlie's right.
There's a lot of chatter on the internet about hand and arm signals, from the security team. There's been concerns about it from my own personnel that work here. I've worked security details, done a lot of sniper work.
Did you ever use hand and arm signals?
I use hand and arm signals every single time on every detail, everywhere I went. And, one of the rumors was, he's got the ball cap. He did the ball cap wiggle. That's the Marine Corps sniper. I've done a lot of sniper operations. Nobody wears ball caps.
So that was my lead question. You ever use hand signals? And it's like, yes.
Yes.
All right. Were your hands...
And you would already establish, I'm going to cover for you here.
Yeah.
Because this is a rumor that I just fucking hate.
I know.
Because that is what it takes. You can't be on the radio all the time because you're tying the net up. We had already established that you had other security professionals within the crowd that you're trying to communicate with, and that's how you do it. That is how you do it.
Well, I'll speak to this one. You're using hand signals, or if you were to use hand signals, and those are an option, especially like under MVG or things like that. One, are those hand signals normal ones that you would see during normal gesticulation? Are those definitive hand signals? They're definitive so that they can't be confused with a guy scratching his ass. And so that's the first one. The second one is that hand signal. When a bubble team is there, we're not using hand signals. Sniper details, absolutely. Why? Because you can see that. Are we looking around at each other looking for hand signals? We're looking at in the front in our area of responsibility. If we needed to relay a message, then we would, hey, right here on comms. Right? And or we're notorious for, if I need to get somebody's attention on the team, I'm not going to sit there and use a hand signal if he's in my line of sight. I'm just going to go like that. He's going to look up and I'm going to go. And so if I looked up and did a hand signal on the team and did that or that, he's going to look at me like, so what do you want me to do then? Right? So for that, that's not good communication. It has to be definitive. It has to be necessary. So no, we don't use hand signals on that one. We didn't use hand signals that day. We've never used hand signals other than the general ones. Here, 2 people, here. You know, none of that was done. None of that was done. You had Frank Turek and people were messing with him because he adjusted his hat. It's like, okay, and substantiate. All right, so he touched his hat. There were a line of people in the front and all other people that also did all kind of things before that. It's like everybody's subject to that. I get it. Man, I'm a huge, and I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but I do believe that there are things out there bigger than you and I that are in operations. It's a fact.
Way back machine.
Let's talk about the immediate response. Let's get back to that. Could you tell it was gunfire?
Yes.
How could you tell?
I've been around gunfire my whole life. That's the first one. And so, and there's a different type of gunfire, right? We were at Berkeley last night, and you heard somebody decided to pop off some bunch, and they were loud, like 6, 7 M80s at a time.
Oh wow!
And people started panicking and running. And one of my guys, look, I said that's not gunfire. It's a different sound. You have an attribution of sound, and so you're used to it. And so I've got my back to Charlie about, I don't know, less than 10 meters off to his right. And my area of responsibility, we had a lot of people coming up some staircases there, and it was starting to fill in. And so I was watching that, and I remember I heard the gunfire, and then I don't know if you've heard this, but I heard that bullet slap him. And so so you hear 2 sounds actually. And so you hear the actual shot, and then you hear the bullet hit him in the neck, like you hear it. And so in my head, I had an attribution to that. Oop, I know what that is. And so I turned, and when I turned, started running, that's when Dan grabbed him. And I mean, this is a live fire event. It's not, everybody thinks in hindsight, well, this is a one-shot assassination. No, in our heads, there's
You
fire.
don't know what that is.
There's fire. There's more to come, right? And so Dan grabs Charlie, and then
Who's Dan?
Dan was the guy standing right next to Charlie when he got shot on the stage, and then I was to the right of Dan.
Okay.
And so he grabs him, and then I turn and see him start to the ground, but then I'm just thinking gunfire. And then he's leading to the ground because I'm on his right, where he was shot right here in the left of his neck. And so I jumped down on top of Charlie to cover him, because where we're at, it's concealment at best. It's a tabling with cloth on it, so it's not hard cover. So, and our guys are starting piling back in, and they're down, putting a human shield around him, but it's still just concealment. It's not cover. And so I initially dove down on top of him and just was on him almost face to face. And then when I was doing that, I went down, I could see the wound. And so I immediately shoved my hand into the wound to stop the bleeding, just trying to find the pressure. And it was coming out still. And I'm on top of him, like close. And it was still coming out enough that it squirted through my fingers and I could taste it on my lips. And so I was like, man, this is a bad wound, right? And so I was just pushing that, and I don't know at that time. I know when you look at the clock, I was on him within 5 seconds and had my hands in him. And then I don't know when I put the first piece of medical on him. It was sometime after that, because I carry it right here, and that's why you carry it on you. You got to have it there. So, but then I remember pulling back away and thinking, damn, this is bad. Like it's coming out. And I don't remember saying this, but the guys told me, and you can kind of see it on the video. I said, prep the car. And I just prepped, and you see the two guys just take off. And that car's prepped in position, but what I mean, doors are open, I mean, the whole deal. And then so we're doing pressure control there, and it's a carotid artery, so you can't put a tourniquet on it, obviously. And in my head, I'm like, pack, pressure, pray, man. These are what you can do for that wound. But then, so I'm on top, and then I told the guys, we got to exfil. We're all out here in the open. We're trying to give wound care, and we got to get off this X, right? And so, but I just said, we're exfilling. And so we got up, I think it was like 15, 16 seconds from the time the shot happened to the time we were picking him up and headed.
15 to 16 seconds.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. And so.
That's fast.
Yeah, and this is horrible, but
that is fast to get an initial assessment, plug a hole, pick them up, move them.
Yeah, and so it's just like, dang. And it's some horrible realities of it too, that like I told the guys this, and I haven't. When I jumped down on him, he had doll's eyes. And so I was like, man, these are wounds incompatible with life.
You know.
Yeah.
You want to take a break? Let's take a break. You want a minute?
Good. Sorry about that, man.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's mainly the it's going through your head. Like I said, I was like, man, this is a bad wound. It's not compatible with life, and that's an old medical phrase that you use for reporting later. And
I mean, I hate to get graphic, but that's
that's
how you do it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I remember.
Yeah.
The eye thump.
Yep. And
if
so
there's no movement after you thump the eye, that is,
good.
It's
and
done.
So, same. And so at the time, I mean, I broke down just then, but I think, and some of my close friends had told me I didn't weep a tear after that for like 3 weeks. Not, it's like, hey man. And I was like, yeah, there's a time for that. These guys, the guys I'm with, we've seen a lot of,
That
effects of violence, messed up kids, guys that stick things into kids and just horrible people, right? And you compartmentalize that junk, right? so that you can, you got a job to do. And then sometimes those things, when you open that box, they come out, right? And that was one of them. So, I'm sure it's good for me at some point. So we get back to that, and so I'm down on him, and I don't know if when it sprayed me in the face, it caused me to flinch back or what, but then sometime around then, I said, hey, prep the car, and you see two of the guys just take off towards the car, and then Gibby and Rick and Dan and I said, hey, let's exfil now. And so we get up, and the timeline on that's like 15, 16 seconds, something like that, where you can see we're prepping. But the problem is direct pressure, right? So when you're in a medical deal, and you've been I've had these before on major accidents and GSWs, when you show up on calls, is you can't give direct pressure and move, right, in exfil. And you have to have counters, like giving CPR. You can't give people CPR like that. You have to have something. So it's like, hey, okay, well, let's just get in the car.
You can't.
Yeah, but then
You can't apply direct pressure to move either, because it's the neck, and there goes the airway.
Right, and so
And it's just it's damn near the worst.
and then like
place.
and then you don't give first aid when it's raining on you still, right? Or this first shot, second shot, how many more is coming in? So and so I was like, hey, let's just call for exfil. So I called for exfil and said, hey, let's go. The guys had prepped the car, so we're carrying. We trained officer down, I don't know how many times, or person down, and we were carrying, and you can see it on the video. Rick breaks off at the perfect time. He goes around to the other side, jumps in. We do the drag. Don't try to shove the guy in. Half the team pushes in, the other half team drags from the other side. There was no comms for that. We just knew. He knew that's what we need to do. We've done that. He's done that. We've got careers built on doing that, real time and in training. And so guys weren't helping. Justin gets in. He knows his job is to drive. That's his job. Dan jumps in. He knows he's nav. And so we're back there. Rick, we pull him across. Frank Turek, and it just jumps in the back. And so he's a known. So I was like, yep, it's Frank, but I'm not going to fight him on it. Frank's there because Frank's hurting, and it's because it's one of those things where you have dead kids on calls, and you're not supposed to let the crime scene be contaminated, but I'm not going to deny a parent the ability to come in and say goodbye to their child. And Frank's many times said that Charlie felt like he was his son. I'm not going to deny him that. Dan's already got the route done. We know that because we've done it. And so we take off in direct action. We get out onto the main road, and we're in a slick SUV, no lights, sirens, and so we're breaking our own intersections. We're cutting our own traffic. We're doing everything ourselves. Justin's driving. I mean, he's a trained driver. I mean, that's what our guys go to driving school for, just for that. It's expensive. It costs a lot, but it's a need, and it paid off because he drove it like a champion. Dan's up in there calling out right lefts. Well, this is next turn, 200 meters left, so he knows exactly where he's going. Rick and I are in the back. And this is where it gets not funny, but you look back on it now. Rick pulls Charlie across, and then I'm working off my kit. And you always, when you build a kit out like that, you build it to where the stuff you need the soonest or most important is on the outside, right? Mm-hmm. And so all the bleed control is right here in front. So I'm just working out of the kit right there. And so I'm just packing, pressure, repack. It gets saturated. You don't take it out. You just keep packing on top of it. And so I'm just working medical. And Frank's praying out loud. Rick's praying out loud.
But does he have a pulse at this point?
So,
and no way.
In a situation like that, I'm not going to stop and take pulse.
I didn't know if somebody else had one or
no. And so I have SpO2 monitor there. I've got all the stuff for it. I could have put it on, but it's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. it's irrelevant to treating that wound, right? And so I've got to stop that bleeding. That's my primary thing. And so whether he had a pulse then, it's unknown. The body's an amazing thing that can do things even when it's technically, destroyed. And so my concern is bleed control. And so I'm just, Rick's got me, Justin's driving, World's coming by. I'm working, I end up putting about 36 feet of dressing in him.
Wow.
And then 4x4s and then 2 hemostatic 4x4s.
Sheesh.
And then just pressuring the whole time. So you're adding your pressure as much as you can get, pressure, adding pressure. And so we are heading to the hospital. It's a known. We're heading there, breaking intersections. We picked up a tail from PD somewhere along the way. And I know some audio came out about that. And I think they thought it was a secondary person that had been shot. But we didn't know if it was an active shooter. Everybody that says, "Oh, you should have treated him there and not moved him, stopped the bleeding." I'm like, well, yeah, I know. Same way. I was like, man, no, that's not, medicine doesn't happen on the X. Nothing happens. Somebody shoots at you, you get off the X, right? And so, and we didn't have cover. We had
Just for anybody that's listening, that is rule number 1. Law enforcement, military, any security, anything. Get off the X.
yeah. And
More
so
rounds are coming in.
yeah. And so we get to the hospital. Actually, we make it to the hospital through the traffic. We've got full wound pack in. We get out and we carry in to the door. Once we make it into the door, we see a gurney on the left-hand side. We put him on a gurney and then I wheel him into a room. I start giving the patient information to the staff there. I end up getting on top of him and cutting the shirt that he had on off, that white Freedom shirt. And so I cut it off so they could get to him, so that I didn't articulate this to them, but I wanted to get that stuff off so they could put a defibrillator on him. And so, and then started talking about pushing drugs. And so I was back and forth with them on drugs and defibrillator. And so then, once you get that shirt cut off and moved out of the way, there's enough of medical professionals in there. And so I just want to get out of their way. And so I got out of their way and walked out of the room and stood outside the room and held guard on the outside door of the room so nobody else could come in there. Rick was there. Same thing with him. He's going through the same thing. He's covered in it. And Justin's there. And Dan was there, and everybody's got this look of bewilderment, like, hey, and so I told Justin, I said, check on the men and call your kids. And so I didn't know their status. And
So if they came with 12 guys, it sounds like, if I'm mathing correctly, it sounds like 4 of them went with Charlie. So that means in excess of probably 8. 4 went with Charlie plus Frank Turek, because Frank Turek is not security. So there was at least 8 still left at UVU. Gotcha. This is crazy.
There's been a lot of rumors going around about there was no autopsy, none of that. Was there an autopsy?
there was, and I can speak to that. Personally, I can speak to that. One, for those people saying that, do a FOIA. Do a FOIA to the medical examiner's office to Utah County.
There you go.
Get off your lazy ass and do a FOIA. They may not give you the autopsy information right now, but they'll certainly tell you, yeah, there's an autopsy. So for these people that are saying there wasn't one done, go away.
He said,
It was done. It was done. Do a FOIA. Yeah. Get the report when it comes out. It was done.
Good catch.
It was done. Yeah. In the OR doc released statements regarding, and there has been statements regarding the bullet and the travel. Oh, there should have been a blowout, and it's like there wasn't an exit wound. There wasn't one. I was checking for that in the ride. Yeah, and so
he had his
people are like,
hands-
it's completely impossible. And I was like, man, I've seen bullets do weirder things on people. And so all I know is what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't an exit wound. And so I know there was an autopsy done. One, because we requested it, they were there. And the second one was the local SO, and I believe it was the state police. They did the body transfer that night through the either Emmy's office or funeral home to the Emmy that night and took them there. So, yeah, for them to say that somebody broke the rules or Turning Point didn't follow the rules, that's lies. It's conjecture and it's lies. It's all that's people is wanting people to look at themselves. Yeah, it happened.
Do you think that the entry wound looked like an exit wound?
No, it was an entry wound.
Why do you say that?
So one, there wasn't an exit wound because I remember rolling his head over and cleaning it so I could see if there was an exit wound. And then I was having to open the wound up some to get more and pack it.
Yeah.
If you've ever done an exit wound, it's not that hard. It's a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can feel it when you know, the rule of kind of thumb on that one is you don't want to make it bigger, but you got to keep packing it in there. And so, yeah, I've heard and seen them all. It doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to make something into nothing.
Right.
Right. And so I'm not saying that we shouldn't look at things by all means.
Yeah.
We should. I mean, we look at people and press and in history of the United States, how valuable they've been. And I applaud these guys that are out there humping and working to want to have the truth. But don't say you're searching for the truth when you're lying to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's happening. Because you're not searching for the truth. You're searching for clicks.
I think that the people posting these, I don't know. You know, I mean, I have mixed feelings. I think some people are legitimately just trying to figure it out. I think that there are other people that are very obviously making a living off of sensationalizing this.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I think we live in a time where people don't, including myself, don't know where to find the truth. They don't know who to believe. They are starting not to even believe their own eyes.
And do you blame them?
No, I don't.
Not at all. Me neither. I mean,
I don't.
You look
we
at
have zero faith in any of these institutions.
You think about this. There's a guy out there, and he has a company called Paramount Tactical, and his name's Gary. And Gary took an ass whipping online because he went out there and said, and he did exactly what we're talking about right now. And people whipped his ass for telling the truth because he bucked the system. He said, no, look at this. And he broke it down from a professional standpoint because he has a background in it and a probability standpoint. And
What did Gary say?
I didn't talk to him, and he was like 95% right, even on the medical stuff. And it's like, but then he took an ass whipping online for it. And I sat and watched it from afar. And it's like, so people get chastised for telling the truth. And then you've got, like you said, who do you believe? I mean, our media, big poll. They polled our people in the United States. And how many of you believe the media? And said 70% of them don't believe a word that comes out of the media's mouth.
Wow,
and I'm like, well, let's look at this.
That's wild.
If a baker makes bread every day and 70% of his product tastes like crap, how long is he going to be in business? And then why do we keep letting these people be in business? And then, so that's the big media. You think that's worse online? And then who's to blame? The idiot that's lying, or the big Facebooks, Instagrams, and X's that are making money off them lying? And then they're monetizing the lie too. It's kind of like back in the day, you had the National Enquirer that made money offline. They sold the little cheap papers. All these guys are, and these things are our version of National Enquirer, and they're monetizing that lie.
That's a National Enquirer.
But and I was like, man, guys, you're losing value of how important that is. You could be the Watergate guy that breaks the truth, but you're taking that away from people. It's like, be the one that tells the truth. Be the paramount tactical guy that's willing to take a whipping to tell the truth.
I think, you know, I've talked about this a lot recently, but, you know, I think you have to be willing to poke holes in your own story. You can poke holes in everybody else's story, and that's fine. But you also have to be willing to poke holes in your own story.
Great way to put it.
You know, you should be poking holes in your own story. If you are really a truth seeker, you should be poking holes in your own story along with everybody else's. These are the questions that are running rampant on the internet, by the way. So I'm just going to do a quick fire here. Did you see any signs of internal leaks or betrayals within TP USA or the security team that could have facilitated the attack?
No. I don't. And here's my deal. That's our job, right? And so if they have some stuff going on inside corporate headquarters, that would be unknown to us anyway. And then we're the contractor, it's a security contractor, which is our team. And then so that direction comes from Dan, and then it comes to us. And nothing that would make me believe that, hey, something's afoot here. So sometimes I wish, not wish, it's like, hey, if that was happening, that would be an easier attribution. But I would say this, hey, if you're going to make that claim, you better be able to back it up with the truth. Because we're talking about allegations that you're making that people are conspiracy or part of a murder. We're not talking about cheating in a video game or a hand of cards. And so if somebody were to say, one of my guys or an employee, hey, you were part of this murder and you helped conspire, then I would say, I need you to tell me why you said that right now. A definitive why not now. Not, it's a possibility.
Yeah.
And if you do, let me hear it. But it better be the truth.
Facts.
And if it's not, there's consequence.
Yeah.
And so, and that's why there's punishments for that stuff like that involved. Do I have faith in the system? I've seen a lot of guilty people walk free because they had money, right? And so I know the system is broken, but you've been around the world. Man, every time I come home from someplace bad, I'm like, dang, we got it good.
Yeah.
And so, no, I didn't see anything to make it lead that came from the inside.
Okay. Why do you believe that the security footage has not been released publicly?
Well,
I mean, obviously FBI is in control of the evidence.
And I'm with them on that.
You are.
Absolutely. I'm with them on that. Man, that video footage or really good video footage is the truth, or as close as we have. And so they came back with that gag order to the council and so they can information share, because the judge said there's a volume of evidence, right? A voluminous, I think's what he said. And I'm like, okay, cause we want to protect his right to a fair trial and we don't want to taint a potential jury. Okay, I get that. But if is there not a balance to that? It's like, I'm not asking you to produce the footage, but maybe give us something that we investigated this claim and then we found this, and make them put their name on that. I'm with them on that. Give us some information. It's like you go to public information officer school to be a cop, and they tell you, hey, don't go out there and go, this happened. We'll let you know when we figure it out. Because then you're just like, well, are you capable? Do you know what you're doing? Are you hiding something from us?
Yeah.
So what do? You go out there, even if you can't release the details of it, you go, hey, this happened. We heard this, and this is attribution that makes us lead to believe that it was a directed crime and not a random crime. Okay. So what you're doing is you're letting people, okay, this is starting to make sense. Well, give us something.
Yeah.
Give us something.
See, that's it.
I've got a team here that are done. And if you had opened that up, at least a little bit, 6, 8, 9 weeks ago, these guys wouldn't have been suffered. We've been doxxed. Our credit cards have been stolen. Our children's and parents' names have been released online. Wedding plans, home addresses, phone numbers. It's like, throw us a bone.
Yeah.
Don't let us sit out here and suffer for you when all you got to do is produce something to quench the thirst of these people. And you're right. You're creating distrust.
Yeah.
And you're hiding behind, well, we have to make sure and ensure that we don't taint a jury for this guy. You know, and I have questions about that too. And so I have questions about that. And we talked about that earlier. Where's his call logs? His phone hits. Who'd he talk to 2 days, 4 days, 8 days beforehand?
Okay.
Why do you think that they tore up and paved over the crime scene so quickly?
I have had and asked that at least 10 times. And I said, I don't understand the exigency of why they did that. And here's my question to that. March your ass up to the school. Have you march your ass up to the school, or will you march your ass up to that school tomorrow and file a FOIA and say, hey, you're a public institution. I want the request and the plans that were made to tear that up and when those requests and plans happen.
There you go.
Because you're not going to request that, or you shouldn't request that overnight and have that done. That had to probably go through a budget request, had to be approved. There should be a timeline and paperwork for that. You should be able to get that through FOIA. And so do it. Make them tell us why that they tore that up before it was even cold. I want to know. Because it came back on us. That we had some trap door and they're covering up the trap door and we had a guy hiding in there.
Ninja Turtles.
Okay, that's actually my next question. I didn't hear about there was somebody hiding in the trap door.
A gun was hiding or something.
Heard there was a trap door or something. Was there a trap door in a tunnel system?
No.
There was not.
No.
You know, I mean, back to the exit wound thing. You know, I mean, because we're talking about the tearing up of the crime scene and everybody's wanting them to find the bullet. I mean, if the bullet hit any bone at all, there is no bullet. It's just fragmentation.
Great point.
And
that was discussed already.
And if there was no exit wound in the autopsy though, there should be, I mean, if there was no exit wound, then there should be fragmentation of the bullet would have fragmented into
Pieces.
who knows how many pieces.
The doctor, and again, this is not a non-disclosure violation, but the doctor came out there and told us. And then they also told chief of staff. So the bullet came in and hit the vertebra. So it came in and then tore up everything in the wound cavity, hit the vertebra, crushed it, shattered it, turned, crushed the second one, turned, kept going down all the way. I think they said C6.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like, why not put that info out? Why not put it out? And then
Why wouldn't they put that out?
And if do me a favor, don't make me do it. It's not my job. And so then it got to here, and you're exactly right. And then hit, I think, 6, and then fragged. And so explanation 101. What are you hiding? Yeah. It's like I'm sitting back here when people are saying we bombed him or there's a wound. I'm like, hey, if somebody from an official capacity would just release that, and I don't see how that could jeopardize a fair trial for a guy.
I can dig that.
And or somebody call the doctor. Somebody just call him.
What questions do you have?
You know,
You had some good questions about Robinson.
yeah, I want to know. I want to know who this kid is. I don't want to know that he was something that feeds a narrative of hate and division. That he was his boyfriend was trans or whatever, and that they had text back and forth. I want to know. It's like, all right, where did he work? And then who were his coworkers, and did they interview his coworkers? And then I want to see his phone logs.
Yeah, phone
And
logs
the
would be
towers that it hit. I want to interview his friends, and did he have any help? They said, oh, well, we have DNA on the rifle, and I want all that information. That's a good tie, right? Now, from a judicial standpoint, I can understand why they're saying, we don't want to put all this information out because the judge said it may taint a potential jury because they're going to seek the death penalty. And I'm like, from a book standpoint, I understand that. But you got a lot of people out there wondering, hey, did this guy do it by himself? And then you throw my wonder on there. It's like, wow, so he just, the rooftop was clear, and then he jumped up on it, acquired a shooting position, took the shot. That shooting position was a loophole. If it had been 5 meters this way or what, this way wouldn't have happened. And then can we go through his phone or his computer and find a Google Earth overhead that he was looking at it days, weeks, months before? Did he access that before? Because obviously it's a problem, because that's how we came upon the information, that it's easily accessed, and how we gave it to the chief to say, hey, chief, you got this, right? I got you covered. So that's information we need to know. I want to know about this kid. I want to know if somebody helped him. Is he a patsy? Is he, was there a group of people?
What's a patsy?
What, is he taking the blame for other people? Or is he, is he part, is he a lone wolf? But then we all thought Timothy McVeigh was a lone wolf too, right? Mm-hmm. And then we come to find out, people knew about it. He had assistants.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it was assistance of, we knew you were going to do something, and then we didn't say something. So, yeah, I have questions to him. I have questions, and this is horrible because I'm a father. I have questions to his father.
Yeah.
Aren't they saying that he took the rifle apart with a flathead screwdriver?
That's a big one I want to know. And it's like, I know there's footage out there, and I don't know what to believe. And how it got down. It's like, all right, how did I want to know that. How did the rifle get from the roof to where they found it? That's a big one.
That's a good question.
How did the rifle get from the shooting position all the way back across to where they found it?
And then it was reassembled when they found it, correct?
I don't think that it ever was disassembled, because even an AR platform, think about it.
You know what I mean?
Pin, break,
Yeah.
pull, it's going to take a bit. That's a bolt gun.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting at.
Right.
It's
not going to happen.
I probably should have been a little bit more descriptive about that for.
So I want to know about that.
Non-shooters.
Yeah, and there's other things.
Enthusiasts.
Yeah. I look at that and I look at a lot of things that are going on at Turning Point, and because I saw, man, I've seen people say that Erica was involved in it, his wife. I've done a lot of death notifications where I had to tell kids that their parents were dead, or their parents that their kids were dead. And I know what pain looks and sounds like. Wow. I wake up screaming sometimes, thinking of kids' faces. The words that came out of her mouth and how they came out when she walked in that room and saw him, you don't want to hear that. She's a victim.
Wow.
That's her husband. And now people without any proof are saying that she was a part of killing him. Come on, man. And then not having anything to substantiate it with. That's what makes me lose faith in people. And that we allow it. And that platforms allow it. It's like, it goes against everything that we are. And if we're going to allow that, what else are we going to allow? You hear that kind of pain come from somebody and see it. And I could only imagine the pain she's feeling now by happening to hear that people say that she was a part of it. Those are lies.
That's some crazy.
And so
work.
and we have that organization. It's got this huge power vacuum going on now, and I'm sure it's affecting it. It's affected me, and so that's an organization with a lot of great people in it, doing good things, you know, and so. Where do we draw the line
Right.
to people making allegations of bad behavior? It's a huge question. I mean, could you imagine? Think of this for a second. You've lost friends. And could you imagine somebody reporting that one of your friends, his wife, was responsible for their death?
It's crazy work, man.
What would you want to do to him?
That's crazy work.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, we're better than this. We should be better than this. And we're not. And people are bitching about the leaders we have. And I was like, hey, we get the leaders we deserve.
Right.
It's a good point.
And we don't deserve very much right now. On each side.
Wow.
On each side. Both sides. We get the leaders we deserve. If we want to hold them accountable, we should hold ourselves accountable.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Are there any other questions you have?
No, I just, I appreciate you. You let me come on. Or when I got that phone call, I was like, wow. I mean, I've seen the people that have come here, and Don Graves, he sat here, right? That's Eddie Penny, Ben Carson. It's like, man, I don't deserve this. So,
It's a lot of humility in this room, man.
should be thankful for that.
You deserve to be here just like everybody else. God bless you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was a really good interview, right? You know, shout out to Shawn Ryan. He didn't play it close. He voiced some concerns. The shout out to the head of security. He voiced honest and legitimate concerns that he had. So it wasn't just a play it close. Let's just treat everybody nice and have some great times and point the finger and say everybody's lying. Like literally, like, hey, we got some problems. UVU did some wrong things. The police department did some wrong things, you know, and he pointed the fingers in the right direction, I believe. That was really very informative. So shout out to Shawn Ryan. The link to his channel and his Patreon is down in the chat. Please make sure you go support him. He did an excellent job. And let's continue to pray for TPUSA as well as our friends that are caught up in this, that they might find peace in Christ and let go of the conspiracies. And I mean, you're hurting real people with this, which is crazy work, by the way. Anyway, thank y'all so much for rocking with us. I'll see you all real soon. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.